Alright guys, welcome back. Um, this is Eddie here, and today we'll be looking at how to edit the models that we have for armors for the characters. So I saw somebody did a task and they returned it, but it wasn't satisfactory. So we're gonna start from scratch and just learn this. Um, I thought I gave a lot of information, but it wasn't, guess it wasn't clear enough. Um, and it was just images, so we're just gonna do a video format and you guys can actually see how this can be done. So you have the model here, and then you have the armor or equipment or whatever. And the armor is a static model. It is not rigged, it doesn't match the character model itself. So that's something you should keep in mind. Now the character, unlike the armor, is gonna be moving. The various parts on the character are gonna be moving, like I explained in the text, and I pointed out some images and whatnot. And I drew the cuts. I drew cuts at where the body parts will be moving at, and well, I'm still gonna clarify this here. So we're gonna look at this. All right. So when a character starts to move, right, the armor, if you were to just stand a character like this, maybe sometime the armor might just go on, but the arms of the armor might extend outwards. Like it might go out like this because the armor by default is usually in T-pose. And let me show you what T-pose is. So we'll go to Blender, we'll hide this window. All right, that's T-pose over there. Now T-pose is when the character arms are extended outwards. Oops. The Whoa, it's the wrong model here. Let's look at this one. It's when the character arms are extended outwards like this. That's T-pose. Now, if you were to put that on the model that we have in Unity right now, you'll see that it won't match. Right? The static armor arms will be out, and the Unity model or the character model itself will be in a different pose pretty much. So that's why you guys gotta think about when you are editing the model. Just think that this is a static model and we want to cut it in a way that if it is on a dynamic model, which is the character model, we want to cut it so that it can actually fit when the character is doing its dynamic stuff, like moving around, walk, walking, running, and whatnot. So we have the helmet, the hood here for this armor, right? If you were to put this on the head of the character, it will be fine because this is a tiny piece, right? This piece, if it goes on the head, we can just match it and it detaches from the rest of the body. So we can just drag this onto the character model head and make it a child of the character model, right? So what do I mean when I say make it a child? When I game capture, window capture. All right. So in Unity, these characters here have individual parts. Like each one of this head right here is a different part, even though like it's all together and rigged. I made sure I cut this part when I was making these models. I think I can show you guys in Blender as well. I'll do this, and then we go to one of these models. So zoom out. We'll find a male model. That's these are elves, uh, blaze spawn, uh, curse folks, dragonoid. We'll find human. Where are the humans? All right. I think these are the humans here. All right. We'll go to the head of the human, and as you can see, it is a separate part, right? Even though it's all together. So this part here, we can just grab a hood and put it on it, and when it starts to animate, that's fine because the model head will be able to tilt, rotate, and bend, stretch, or whatever to fit the character head. All right, so that's pretty much what we're doing here. When you look at the body, you see this joint. Um, like all of the characters are cut out in that way, right? Now for the arms here, this might be a difficult part to set up, but I want to take this one at a time. I don't want to like make it a generalized thing and just rush through it. So let's finish the head part. So we can drag the hood onto the head in Unity engine and make that a child of the head. And when the character animates and move around, that hood will stay on the head of the character. All right, and it will be able to bend, stretch, do this, do that, and it won't affect the armor, the rest of the armor. All right, so in when you now know that, we can now compare that to the rest of the body here. So as you can see, this armor, the rest of this part is in T-pose. All right, if we put this on a character right now, the character, as you can see, is just idling. All right, we'll show you that. As you can see, the character is idling. All right, the T-pose model. What T-pose mean? T-pose is basically when a character or model is designed in a way that the arms are extended out like this. And it's mainly done so that you can edit or preview the character easily. Right, this is T-pose right here. Right, so this armor will remain in T-pose. It will always be in T-pose because it is a static armor or equip or model, right? Uh, the character model in Unity is dynamic because it can change. The hand can move, it can go on its side, it can run, do this, do that, right? And so you want to cut out the model so that it can, like the model can actually, the parts can actually move with the character so that the parts are not static like this. If the character were to just idle and would drag this armor onto the character, it won't animate to move the hands down. Okay, I thought I explained all of this in the text that I made and like all those cutouts I made on the images that I sent out, but it's always good to clarify things. All right, so to make this model fit the character and so that when a character do anything at once, um, the model will always fit. We'll take this model and we'll grab this part of the model here, like this shoulder pad. We'll want to separate it, right? You go into this object mode, you go into edit mode, all right, like that. And we can, mark seams or whatever, right? We select the type of part we want to select. All right, like this. All right, you basically just go around into the model. It's not simple. It's gonna take a time. That's why I give this model out one at a time, and each person have one. All right, want to go into the model like this and select this part, and then you can cut them out. Right, there's a tool for cutting them out, or you can just delete. You can just remove the vertices and stuff like that. I'm going to object mode. All right, as you can see, this little part here, this is pretty much gonna be the muscle. If we were to put it on a character, that would be the muscle, and it won't be like entirely on the character, but the various parts will go on a character. And this, once we remove like this shoulder pad, or the shoulder pad can stay if it is really too difficult to remove, but I'll pretty much prefer like you remove it because the character can move the hand upwards as well, and you don't want the hand going through the arm. But anyway, sometimes like that some of that can pass as long as the armor is on the character. You can see that you have an armor on or unique model on pretty much. So we'll cut this part. All right, we'll cut it out. I drew this like on the wonder if I can find an image and like link that. Actually, I can't do that right now since I'm recording already. Anyways, I drew like the red line, those little parts that you saw me like cut out with the red lines on the image. Those are the parts those are the cuts that you guys can make pretty much. So you'll cut this chest piece out and we will put that on a character. And when a character bends downwards, when they are performing a strike animation, that chest piece will be stuck on the chest of the character. All right. I see when you move, the character is moving now. The arms, these joints, those parts are supposed to be like the I don't know, vantage point or whatever, pivot point for you to cut at, right? You know that this part is gonna be moving, it's gonna be tilted in a different angle. So if you were to put a static model on it, you know that that won't fit animations pretty much. So you have to stick that armor piece on the character model, on the parts that are gonna be changing direction, stretching, scaling, uh, rotating, and stuff like that, right? And you see the muscles here. The muscles are gonna be moving, and the chest, right? When you put that chest piece on it, we can just scale it out. And if this like chest is tilted in various angle, that will be under the armor, and nobody will really be interested in like how the armor tilts and stuff like that. So the character will be players will be able to see their character. They'll be able to see various like uh, like the details and whatnot, and they will be fine. They'll be okay with like little, little like every games have a little problem like that because that's how you have to fit the armors. Well, this is how I want to fit my armor. I know like some well, most games, the armors are usually made from the character itself, pretty much, and it's made that way and it's brought into the project that way, and it's actually rigged, animated, like every single action is animated as well. Um, but that's like 100 man project, like where you have a lot of manpower and you can just do things as slow as possible and go through all the minute details and whatnot. As for us, we are going to be using creativity, and this is why we can do to make these models like the armors and whatnot for these trades types like yeah, I mean for these blood types, not trade types. So we have elves, dragonoid, and so on. Um, and you can see the animation here, like the feet, right? These go at an angle, right? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna cut from this part downwards. That's gonna be the shoe, as you can see. Again, these model were, when I make them, they were really like, I had to think about all of these ahead of time. Um, and right, so like the trousers, right? This part is probably a different joint, and this here is like the hip area, and you can actually see that like in the Blender model itself, as you can see here. Like you have the little trousers area, you have the joint at the bottom here, and then you have the like the boots, right? So this model, the way it is, right, as you can see, this part is cut out already, but it's not gonna fit the animation when it starts to walk, because this here will just be a full leg that won't be able to it won't be able to bend pretty much. So to fix that, what you'll do is you'll cut around here, or you'll cut up here, and then this part will just go on the foot at the bottom here, and then this part will go like up here, and then like the model itself, like the shin guard might be inward, and the rest of this body, like this part here, will usually just, you probably won't need the rest of this part here. So we'll just need like from here to here, like these little pads. We'll put this here, we'll put that on here, and we'll skip this part, or and nah, and then this part we'll just cut, like we'll cut here around this part, cut here, down here, cut it, cut it, cut it, and then put that on the character as the hip. We'll put that here. Oops. And for some of the models, you'll see like the like these, right? This thing is longer, and it's slashed down all the way down. Um, since this is like a huge piece, like if you were to cut this, it will be like a huge piece all the way down. Um, we can just let that slack, honestly. If the character body moves through the armor of the equipment when they're performing action, it's okay. I'm sure, like like player with know this. It doesn't look great, but they will understand. Like I've played games where the character legs move through the armor like this, and it's totally fine. Or you can personally customize it. Um, but the point is, if the player want to take a photo of their character, they will stop their character from moving for the most part, and they will just take that photo. Um, or you can just cut this or shrink it so that it just goes around the torso area. Or you can cut this part and just put it here and stuff like that. That's too many pieces anyways. So for a model like this, like for me to just make a decision, because that's my role, that's what I have to do. Um, just cut the model here and cut it here. All right. Make sure like this garment is separated from the body. All right. I think that already is. And once you cut those part, um, there should be one piece here and then one piece here. And I think this piece will just go like on this part of the body, and then the upper piece will go right here. All right. So for some of these models, like the females models, as you can see, they have chest area, breastplate, and that's what you might not find in the model. So if you could just like make a female version, right? That's why I gave all these models out so that you can adjust the armor for each individual model. You cut out like the breastplate area. You not cut it out like you would extrude it, or like stretch it a little bit, make it big so that it fits on the females pretty much. It's not anything complicated. Then you got capes. Capes is probably separate, which is good. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Shoulder pads comes off. There's like the t-shirt, the muscle area here comes off because when you look at a model animating, those parts will be moving and you can just stick them onto the model. Just think about it like sticking a part onto the model, joints that move, and all of the joints that move are here. This part moves, so this whole piece here is an armor piece. This muscle will move, so you're just gonna cut out this part, and that's gonna be the muscle area. And if some of the body part goes through the armor for that piece, it's okay. You already did your part by showing this whole model. And then you have the gloves. Um, this glove piece we probably won't be adding onto the model because the model have to grip, right? You have to grip the equipment that you have, like the sword and whatnot. So you'll be separating this little piece here from this gauntlet place, right? This little thing here, you're gonna cut that out from the rest of this hand area here, right? And maybe we could put the hand on the character, but the character hand itself is already like a glove, so we would use this piece and we'll discard this piece. And yeah, that's pretty much how I'm doing this, in a sense, like how we should do it. So if you have Unity and you want to experiment on like a better way to do this, that isn't a lot of pain, a lot of work. Um, I personally think this is like the easiest and fastest way you can do this. Uh, yeah, so I hope I've clarified everything. All right, chest piece again, shoulder pad separate from here. That's the muscle separate here, here separate, and this part is no use. For this part, you guys can be creative, honestly. Year and all right, this one look like it's okay the way it is. So you're just gonna cut this whole piece, right, separate, and then the leg we won't really need much. Uh, this here you don't have to add them, right? But the knee, this little shin guard or whatever, like this little knee pad thing. I'm not sure if that can be separate. Alright, yeah, I think it can be separated. So you can just cut this thing out and we'll put it on a character that can be separate. And then you have the shoe area, which is like the feet joint. Alright, this part. Alright, you cut it out. A little shoe that's gonna be on the feet. And then you see this little pad, like these are pads on the foot. You can separate it as well, and we'll just take that and stick it on the character foot. Yeah, stick it on the character. This whole pad here, we can just stick it right here. We'll stick it right here. And that'll be it for the character. Again, just armor, something that like looks bulky and looks has edges on them, pretty much has details pretty much, and that's pretty much what I want to do for the characters. So one more thing, as I was mentioning in the art and the document that I wrote, is you can see some of the characters have tails, right? So you might want to like cut a hole behind the character or whatever, or yeah, just try to fit these on the characters. And for the hood, some of them have horns. You might want to cut that out and just make it so that it fit. All right, like the same way some of the models that we posted about, the same way they wear pretty much. That's how it is. So I hope that clarifies everything, guys. Thanks for watching. This 25 minutes, 26 minutes. All right, again, it's Eddie Tia, and really appreciate your help, guys. And yeah, that's it. Bye bye.